We're showing a video of the installation of a turret onto a turret stud. This is on a 36-inch Bullard Cutmaster. It's the same design set up for 42, 54, etc. Normally what transpires is the turret's been removed, repair a broken part, and going back on there's a little procedure in order to set the dumbbells, which are the locker dumbbells for the lock on the machine, and how to set it so that the turret properly locks into its two index rings. As you can see, we've got a couple eye bolts in the top, and we've pulled the turret up into position. He's gone ahead and clamped the side of the turret together to hold it in position. It's basically in a cut position and ready to be locked. Our stud has been put on with some heavy grease, and the mechanic is going to put the dumbbells in at this point. Our mechanic is getting ready to put in a very, very heavy grease to hold the dumbbells in position. Basically, what he'll do is set the 3 dumbbells up in the vertical straight out position. All 3 of the dumbbells have been set, protruding straight out in a vertical position. The heavy grease keeps them from falling down or moving off the straight position. The mechanic has put grease into the positions on the handle that correspond to the same dumbbells. We'll now install the handle. The dumbbells have gone straight in a vertical position. You notice the position of the handle, it's in the down or locked position at this point. They're now making adjustments with his cam up top and his stop screw at the bottom, and put on the indexing mechanism. He's installed the thrust bearing, and now we'll put the lock nut in. As you can see, he's in the position with it being locked at this point. The clamp is holding the turret in position, and just friction's holding the lever in position on the dumbbells. The mechanic has brought up the thrust nut onto the thrust washer, putting a small load onto it. He'll put it in this position and make final adjustments from this point. It's okay now to remove the clamp that was holding the turret in position. And now we can make some final adjustments. This is a picture of the locking handle that was originally on this machine. And you can see the area in here where the turret lifting stud goes into the slot. And this is clearly damaged here in the shown in the video. And that can cause a problem with the turret falling, not being able to lock and falling away from the lock rings, hence getting some rock on it. So one of the issues that we need to check on a turret that's not properly locking is the condition of this handle, to see maybe if it was damaged by the turret lock lifting stud or not. This is a picture of the corresponding spot, the turret lifting stud, part number 458, that goes into the top of the ring here. Right there, I'm sorry. And that unit is also examined for roundness and problem on the offset. If that unit is in poor shape, it more than likely needs to be replaced, or otherwise you'll have issues with locking. Turret lifting stud has been greased. Just put it into position. You can see where the dog point set screw unit is on the side. Shows the alignment that needs to go in. The mechanic had trouble getting the unit all the way to seat, so he's going to lift the handle up a little bit and just tap it down the rest of the way when it's in position. Be careful you don't damage the handle doing that, or the lifting stud, I should say. The mechanic would be lining up the unit here to come up against the cam, and if this was a new piece, he would be dog pointing it on the side. So this is a reassembly that was taken apart to be cleaned. This set screw is going to go right in.
I hope.
Set screw is in all the way, and he's ready to make final adjustments and put on the index handle, which he'll do next. Here, the operator is, or the mechanic is now putting his key in the bottom. It's a little bit of a two-hand job to get it on and make sure it goes in. He'll slide it up and on, tap it in, handle's in position at this point. So he'll put his throw rod in. And a pin to go through the side. And that's pulling the index pinion when the palm button is pressed. This is now installing the push button handle. It's a little bit of another two-hand operation. Perhaps three. This is a new assembly. This one was a lot of that basically is to pull it and lock her into position. Our stop screw that was on the bottom is not needing an adjustment, but if this was a new assembly you were putting together, you could back off on the hex nut and bring the set screw down, get it out of the way, get it into the lock position, and then move the set screw up. So it's just touching the handle to give it a positive stop and tighten up on the hex nut. That adjustment isn't needed as this is a reassembly. All right, the mechanic's going to just basically loosen up the handle, put his spanner wrench on the lock nut. He's going to release the turret just up just a touch and give just about 1/8 of a turn to lock it in. He feels a good clip. He'll check to make sure that the index is okay, and the lock-in you can feel is almost like a double over-the-cam lock-in assembly. At this point, there's no wobble in the turret. It's fully seated in the lock rings and ready for cutting.